Comments. Welcome to our Eggs and Issues Forum this morning. We have our county commissioner positions here. So a couple of rules. There is no audio or video recording, and still photography is prohibited during the session. A video of the forum will be available on Bremerton Chamber of Commerce Facebook page within the 48 hours. The format, each candidate will get a 3-minute opening statement. The moderator, that's me today, will ask questions collected from the audience. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond. If the question is directed to a specific candidate, the other candidates will have an opportunity to respond to the question. Each candidate will get a 2-minute closing statement. We have a challenge card, which is the salmon card. Each candidate receives 1 challenge card. They are allowed to raise it during their opponent's answer to a question. Once it is raised, it's noted after the opponent finishes the answer. If any of the candidates are to still answer the same question, such as happens during primary candidate forums, those other candidates are allowed to answer. After every candidate is finished, then the challenger states the comment. The candidate that was challenged gets the same amount of time to respond. The time allotted for the challenge and response is 1 minute each, the same as the amount of time to provide an answer to the questions asked of the candidates.
It's a mouthful.
Timekeeping. During the candidate's 3-minute opening statement, the yellow paddle is raised 30 seconds remaining, and the red paddle is raised at time's up. During questions and answers, the yellow paddle is raised at 10 seconds remaining. Red paddle is raised at time's up. During the candidate's 2-minute closing statement, the yellow paddle is raised at 20 seconds remaining, and the red paddle is raised at time's up. Got it?
Sure. You'll let us know.
And you'll let me know too, right? Okay, so. Cell phones. If you have cell phone, please turn it off. If it goes off during the forum, we ask that you make a $10 donation to
Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity. Appreciate that. So, and let's hold our applause until the end of the forum. Thank you. And we will get started now with Ross.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here, and thank you to the Chamber for hosting the Eggs and Issues event. It's always a fun one to get up for, and I managed to get my breakfast in before we got started. Hello, my name is Rob Gelder, and I have had the pleasure and honor of being your County Commissioner since 2011. And it is definitely an honor to serve our great community of Kitsap County. And what I really find exciting about it is I have the opportunity to, as a county commissioner, to roll up my sleeves, get involved, and learn and listen from all of our county citizens. And in my tenure, we've worked on a few things that I think have really helped to improve the quality of life. One of those things is that we've adopted a shoreline master program that actually helps provide balance between protection of the environment as well as preserving property rights. We've also acquired additional open space that for me not only protects the environment, but it also helps to support a growing tourism and recreation economy. And as we've also had the opportunity to develop a forest stewardship policy, which not only allows us to go through and do restorative thinning in county-owned forested parkland, but what it also does is generates non-tax revenue to support the stewardship of our park system. And of course, we have approved balanced budgets, which have allowed us to restore the financial footing of the county, as well as open the doors 5 days a week. I know about 4 years ago, that was a big thing when we were in these forums, when are we gonna open the county? And so that was definitely key. And one of probably the biggest things for me in the past few years was the adoption of the 1% for mental health and substance abuse. Definitely a key funding source for providing needed services in our community. Over the next 4 years, I would like to continue to focus on permit process streamlining without losing sight of the customers we serve. I also want to support job growth, improve transportation infrastructure, expand affordable housing, and in general, helping to make Kitsap a fantastic county in which to work, live, and play. Now, it's been my honor to serve you, and I hope to have your support in this general election, and thank you for your time this morning.
Took a lot of my stuff. Good morning, I'm Charlotte Garrido, running for re-election as South Kitsap County Commissioner. Because Rob actually mentioned many of the things I intended to talk about, I'm just going to talk about myself for a few minutes. I've been a resident of Kitsap County since 1978 with my husband Ray. We moved to Olalla and have lived in the same place all of those years. And as a county commissioner for the last 8 years and also a term in the late 90s, I've always believed that our future in Kitsap can't even talk this morning. Our future depends on a strong economy, a healthy environment, and people working together. That's what I do as a county commissioner, is work on those three things primarily. But people working together is something that the Board of County Commissioners embodies. Our authority comes as a board rather than strictly as individuals. Certainly, each one of us contributes unique capacity to being a member of that board. But our ability to work together as the legislative and executive branch of county government is essential for us to be able to work with one another and with our staff and with community members on behalf of a stronger economy and healthy environment and people working together. We have to model that ability to be able to encourage other people to come in to talk to us so that we can better serve them. As Rob said, we do each focus on a number of issues, and the 0.1% is one of the things that I'm really, really proud to have passed this in 2013. I'm proud to be working on affordable housing, and especially addressing the huge issue of homelessness now in Kitsap County. Workforce development is one of the areas that I like to work to make sure that we have good jobs in Kitsap County and that we have people who can hold those jobs and make the companies who are here be as strong as possible. Those are the kinds of things I want to continue to work on as a county commissioner, and look forward to talking with you and answering your questions about any of that as we go forward this morning. Thank you.
Well, good morning. My name is Chris Timms, and I'd like to again thank the Bremerton Chamber of Commerce for leading this for allowing us this opportunity, this forum to talk about the issues. This is probably, I would say, my 30th or 40th in attendance or on the stage, Bremerton Exit Issues. And I think each one gets better because every time we have more of an opportunity to talk about the issues within our community. My name is Chris Timms, and I'm running for the position of Kitsap County Commissioner because I believe Kitsap County deserves energetic leadership and fresh perspectives to bring our community together, to strengthen our economy, and to improve our quality of life. My record of accomplishments demonstrates that I have the knowledge, skills, and relationships to move Kitsap to the next level. My professional life has been devoted to bringing people together to accomplishing challenging goals. Recently, I was a member that successfully led the effort to secure more than $300,000 from the Washington State Legislature to preserve and restore Bremerton's historic museum ship, the USS Turner Joy. Successful collaborations with local leaders have earned me the respect and support of many Democrats, Republicans, and independents within our community. I am proud to be endorsed in my campaign for Kitsap County Commissioner by former Governor John Spelman, more than 50 members of the Washington State Legislature, including Senators Jane Angel, Tim Sheldon, Steve O'Ban, Representatives Dick Murray, Liz Pike, Tom Dent. Locally, I'm proud to have the endorsement of 6 of our county's 9 legislators. I'm proud to be endorsed by more than 250 members of our community, men and women throughout Kitsap County, who work day in and day out, like we all should, to make Kitsap County a stronger, better, thriving community. Because of my commitment to affordable housing and because of my strong advocacy for property rights by reducing, I think sometimes cumbersome regulations, and finding common sense solutions, I am proud to be endorsed by the Affordable Housing Council of Kitsap County. I'm also thankful to be endorsed by the Mason County Farm Bureau in recognition for my pragmatic solutions to farming policy. I hope to be your next Kitsap County Commissioner because I am committed to improving our public safety, fixing our broken roads, improving public transportation, and preserving our parks and open spaces. while we decrease unnecessary regulations. You can count on me to be a strong advocate for our entire county, not just South Kitsap. I look forward to today's discussions. I look forward to talking with you and sharing with you my vision for Kitsap County. Thank you.
And the first question goes to Charlotte. Cities and local jurisdictions are financially struggling to repair roads. What is your input on helping repair roads?
Helping repair roads. Actually, Kitsap County has a fabulous public works department, and they have a 6-year program plan for how we will address the road problems that are out there. They can certainly address emergency issues, but I think that they do a heck of a professional job. I love to go watch them work because they are so organized and professional about what they do. But I think that it all starts with having that 6-year plan, that knowing exactly where you're going to go unless there's an emergency, and addressing it in a consistent manner.
Could you please repeat the question?
Cities and local jurisdictions are financially struggling to repair roads. What is your input on helping repair roads?
Thank you. No, I think that's a great question. And, roads are really what county commissioners, many of the many things they do, one of the critical pieces they do. Looking at the transportation improvement plan that Commissioner Green discussed, Kitsap County assigns a 6-year plan, looking at where the money is going to be spent to do the roads and where we're going to do construction. When you look at the 6-year plan, what you see is a $75 million projected cost, and you see about $14 million going to South Kitsap, $20 million going to North Kitsap, and $31 million going to Central Kitsap. I feel at times maybe we have not been as responsive to South Kitsap's road needs as maybe we have at the entire county level. When you look at deficiencies in road, this is numbers from the Kitsap County Public Works Office. When you look at the deficiencies, they're calling for a deficiency in South Kitsap of more than 24% by 2025. So we have a need, and we need to find funding for that. We have to work together in a collaborative strategy, and I think that organizations like the Kitsap Regional Coordinating Council do a very good job. We've done as a city and county to work together on long-term road transportation funding, but frankly, we need to work hard.
Thank you. This is not a question for a 1-minute answer. So I think the transportation improvement program that the county adopts is such that we have a series of measures and a process by which we can make sure that we prioritize the investments with the limited dollars that we have. So while it may look like the fact that it's shifted and it's not an equitable spread, it actually was designed to depoliticize those investments so that we don't have commissioners sort of wrangling back and forth, but really making the investments that need to be made. And the biggest challenge is really the funding sources that the state has given the local jurisdictions. Cities and counties are not created equal. We have a road fund, cities do not. They have to rely on their general city taxes or the TAF fees, which some of the jurisdictions have actually begun to adopt. But that only scratches the surface. There's never enough money to make sure that you can cover it all. But Kitsap County has done a great job in terms of being competitive for grants and making it happen.
And we'll start with Chris next. What is your position on public transportation, and what would you do to better serve the outer lying areas of Kitsap County?
Well, that's a great question when you look at Kitsap Transit, public transportation. I have a lot of concerns with Kitsap Transit. I often wonder if the money is being utilized correctly, if we're doing what we can to reach out to everybody in the community. I was up in Kingston just the other day talking to the Kingston Homeless Council, about 40 citizens up there who were talking about a lot of homelessness going on in Kingston and their concerns. And one of the complaints they're saying to me is there's no way for us to get to Bremerton to receive service or to get to Port Orchard. So certainly we need to look at expanding public transportation, but how do you do that, right? And I think it's utilizing the funds that we already have to more effectively use those funds. So I look for utilization. I look at really letting Kitsap Transit focus on its core mission, which is to be a bus company, not its core mission to do every single thing it would like to do whenever a new project comes up that may be fun and exciting for them.
Great question, and I think that's something that we can do a lot better in responding to. And actually, the Kitsap Transit Board just approved a contract that is actually going to be working to do that analysis of our routed system to make sure that it is the most efficient, effective, and frequent, because frequency is really the key to an effective transportation system. And I think there's also an opportunity to reach out into the hinterlands of the county outside of the route and the access service, because we've implemented what's called SK Ride, or there's the BI Ride, and that's basically an on-demand type of service that I think if we could do a better job of marketing that, and then we can replicate that in other communities, because I would be all for having an NK Ride, which utilizes apps to be able to have that communication with the driver, and be able to have that on-demand service that connects you to a routed. But I agree, the routed service needs to be tweaked. It's been a while since that's happened, and the board is moving towards that.
Well, I also agree that routed service and the analysis is essential. Actually, as I've been doorbelling, I've been hearing from people who are bus riders who critique the service in really positive ways and make some good suggestions about how it could be improved. So my sense is that we do have an advisory committee at Kitsap Transit that recommends routing and access improvements. I believe that maybe freshening that with some new voices and maybe holding some workshops of people in various parts of the county to talk about the service that they have, the service that they'd like to see, and having them look at the funding that's available and helping us prioritize where some of the areas across the county might be to be able to improve.
Great. You guys know what you're doing.
It's not my first day at the forum.
It's mine. Do you support the passenger-only ferry? Explain why or why not.
Thank you. In short order, yes. I do support the passenger-only ferry service, and it's something that I will be voting for myself come November when it's on the ballot. It is one of those things that we can debate for a long time about progressive taxes and so on and so forth, but for me, what it becomes is really an element of geographic equity, and being able to open up our entire county to the same connectivity to the Seattle I-5 corridor that Bainbridge Island has had. It is going to be, if it's successful and it opens up and it has, where there's been challenges with previous attempts in Kingston specifically, it's because they didn't have the specific revenue stream to be able to help support the service. The port did not have that, but this would allow for that to happen. It allows to have the connectivity of 30 minutes up and down the county that will provide a key economic development tool for each one of those communities from Southworth all the way to Kingston. And it's something that I'll be voting for.
I too will, I do support the passenger-only ferry service. I did vote against the 0.3% because I felt like the Kitsap Transit had not looked far enough for alternative funding methods. I believe that there are other funding methods than simply going to the taxpayers for a percentage, an additional percentage of taxes. Our history is traveling across the water as well as across the land, and we had a healthy mosquito fleet in the past, and I believe that it's probably an excellent way for us to continue our transportation mode, not only from Kitsap across the water, but I think even when we're talking about Kitsap Transit within Kitsap County, getting from Paulsville, say, to Port Orchard quickly, or Bainbridge Island to the south end of the county would be, I think, a marvelous way for us to be considering transportation and Kitsap Transit access.
No, I do not support the passenger ferry at this time. And the reason for that is, while I support the concept, I think the funding is flawed. To echo Commissioner Garrido, I think $10.8 million annually is too much money at this time for this community. And oftentimes in our community, when you think about it, this is I don't know about hypocrisy, but I think it's a question to consider. You know, oftentimes people say sales tax is the most regressive tax we have. I hear that a lot of the time. The sales tax is the most regressive tax in America, is what I'm told. Yet, we're choosing to implement a sales tax of $10.8 million on the working families of Kitsap County to subsidize individuals of higher means and a higher level of income so they have a shorter bus ride. And that to me smacks is frankly wrong. Kitsap Transit has not demonstrated an ability to lead this program in my judgment. I am not comfortable with Kitsap Transit managing this program. I would prefer a much different agency or new agency to manage this program. I think the same plan that they've discussed again and again and again for almost 20 years is one that's not well thought out.
Do you trust Kitsap Transit to effectively run a passenger-only ferry when they haven't been able to provide Sunday service?
That's an interesting question. Do I trust Kitsap Transit to run passenger-only ferry service when they haven't been able to do Sunday service? I'm not sure it's a question of trust as much as decision-making. I believe that our priority in Kitsap Transit is bus service, and I would like to see Sunday service restored, and that is something that I ask frequently about at our Kitsap Transit meetings. Again, it's not a question of trust, it's a question of decision-making. And I believe that we really need to, and our new format for meeting will probably give us the opportunity to parse that question in a way that we haven't had time. One of the concerns about Kitsap Transit meetings is that they've been a short time, one time a month, and then you're out of there to be another board. Now we're going to be having a second meeting every month so that we have a work study. I think we can drill down on some of those important questions that we need to be answering more thoroughly.
No, the short answer is no, I do not trust Kitsap Transit. I see Kitsap Transit as an element and an issue we have in Kitsap County. You know, Commissioner Brewer just talked about this. One short meeting a month for an hour to discuss a $26 million annual budget with a couple of subcommittee meetings throughout the month. No, I do not think that that's the way we should be in charge of $26 million or a transit authority. I think we have to have much firmer control over Kitsap Transit. It's not just Kitsap Transit. We need to have a stronger dialogue with the Kitsap Health District, Affordable Kitsap Housing Authority. These organizations, the commissioners have what is called Super Tuesday. So on Tuesday, once a month, you go to North Dix, and you're the board of directors for transit, and you're the board of directors for the housing authority, and you're the board of directors for the health district. And guess what? The management and the executive director dominate that agency, and they really set the vision, which I think needs to have a great deal more follow-up and follow-through. You know, I tell you, Kitsap Transit just, look at the Parker Lumber transfer station. Kitsap Transit purchases the Parker Lumber transfer station with minimal discussion, and now they're going to be selling it because they moved the transfer station farther down the road.
I think the question was a matter of trust of Kitsap Transit, and just to remind everybody, the Kitsap Transit is already in the passenger-only ferry service. That service happens to be from Bremerton to Port Orchard, and just like that, which is subcontracted to Kitsap Harbor Tours, the concept behind the cross-sound service is that it would actually be contracting with King County to actually provide and do that management of that service. But what it would do is actually free up the $1.5 million that supports the passenger-only ferry service between Bremerton and Port Orchard to be able to be reinvested back into the routed and access programs. And so that is a conversation that's yet to be had with the Kitsap Transit Board in terms of being able to, how do we reinvest that in routed, and whether it's frequency, whether it's restoring Sunday services, et cetera. Those are conversations and analysis that's yet to be had. And I see I had a challenge card through up, okay? So I will just hand it back.
I don't know if it's good politics to challenge someone I'm not running against, but I would like to say,
What the heck?
what the heck, we're going to do it, Rob, we're going to do it. No, so we're talking about $1.5 million being reinvested back in. That's that 3/10 of 1%. So Kitsap Transit, if this measure is enacted with the passenger-only ferry funding, is going to get more of your money, and they're going to be generous enough now to take that short portion of their ferry service, plop it into the ferry division, that pot of money, and they're going to realize a $1.5 million additional revenue stream. So they're saying, we'll have more money to spend on service we're already providing to you, and we may look at doing a Saturday service. The idea of King County managing this program, I think is out. I don't want to be the best of King County government in Kitsap County. They have a Marine Highway Division in King County Transit. They've been working diligently on their own passenger-only ferry service, and they've seen their own issues, up and down, of how the reliability of the service and the funding. King County is struggling with funding and consistent funding, just as Kitsap Transit will be if we go forward with this plan.
So one thing that we need to make sure that we understand is the color of money. Right now, the passenger-only ferry service between Bremerton and Port Orchard is actually coming from the 8/10 that is already on the books. So what that allows it to be reinvested back into the overall ferry service. I find it interesting and somewhat disingenuous to have received basically being paid as a consultant with $5,000 relatively to explore this whole passenger-only ferry program and sort of flip-flop on the issue overall.
So he challenged my challenge, like. Okay.
Oh, this is getting going?
This is actually kind of fun. This is a new addition. I like it. So about $5,000. I accepted $5,000 from Kitsap Transit to look at the election data and look at the statistical data because Kitsap Transit said, hey, we're thinking about doing a plan and we think this might make sense. And overwhelmingly, and again, consistently said, this will not work. This does not work. The citizens of Kitsap County will not support this. And when the citizens vote against this November 8th, come November 9th, Kitsap Transit will have some serious soul searching to do after losing this for the third time. This was it. There was an opportunity. I support the passenger-only ferry concept. Funding is flawed, and moving forward on this elective process is flawed. And, I think it's disingenuous to bring up being a paid vendor. I thought it was kind of a cheap shot, but I still respect you.
Next question. Kitsap Transit's management has not substantially reviewed and revised the routing bus service since 1983. Does that reflect well poorly on the county commissioners, all of whom serve on the Kitsap Transit board?
Being the one of the three people up there that's not a county commissioner, we say, no, it does not reflect well. When we're talking about a study that has lasted done since the 1980s, we have one commissioner who served for 8 years, one who served for 5 years, and now they finally thought to look at Kitsap Transit's routed bus service, and as Commissioner Guerrero said, that's the core of what they do, the most important piece of what they do, I would argue. And now we're going to study how to be more efficient. Well, weren't we going to be more efficient in 2008 with the downturn of the economy? Weren't we more efficient then when we look at the county services? So this goes back to my point, which is you cannot effectively manage a $26 million entity if you're going to manage it once a month for 1 hour after a couple of study sessions. I think the whole concept is flawed. So no, I am not confident with it. I think the commissioners have been delinquent in their administration of Kitsap Transit.
And just with so many other organizations, Kitsap Transit is an agency that has staff and has a directorship that the board actually hires and does their performance evaluation. So the board is engaged in that. And there is that expectation, and the staff are held accountable for making sure that the organization runs efficiently and effectively. And yes, there have been, over the years, there have been analysis and rerouting. Just in East Bremerton, not too long ago, I think 1 or 2 years ago, there was a retweak of a couple of routes to make sure that they were more efficient. And so it is something that is a continual process improvement. What the board has adopted in terms of the contract that's going out is going to look at systemic overall rerouting, retooling of the program. So I think that, does it reflect poorly upon the commissioners? No more so than any of the other board members that serve from the various jurisdictions.
I have to concur with what Commissioner Gilder just said. Actually, we have looked at and evaluated routed service over the years since 1983. I wasn't around in 1983 to know what level of analysis occurred, but we review the ridership on a regular basis, and we review aspects of the ridership, including and even the vehicle that are being followed, and there have been tweaks made. I believe this one's going to be a little bit deeper dive into what else is possible. But you see change over the years. You see change in the number of people who are riding, where the hot spots are for pickup and delivery. And you do need to pay attention to what's happening out on the landscape and tweak according to what you're seeing. Does it reflect poorly on the Board of County Commissioners, or the Board of Transit Commissioners, the decisions that are being made? I don't think so. I think we ask tough questions. I think that we get good answers most of the time when we ask those questions.
New question, not
At what point does Kitsap growth justify electing an executive, or do you favor hiring or appointing one?
That's a great question. I think that for the county, we're sort of in that teetering point. There have been other counties that have gone to a charter and have had a council as well as hiring an executive. But it was a question that came up 4 years ago about Kitsap and a charter. And I've taken this past 4 years to actually look at some of the other counties that have done it. And to really go to that point, I would like to see that there are some efficiencies and some savings. But most of the counties that have done it have not seen that. And I don't think that we have the revenue stream at this point in time to be able to support that level of government. And so until we grow, I don't know in terms of the population, we'd have to do some more analysis, but I don't think it's the right time now. But it's something that's probably, it's not a if, it's a when kind of thing. And yeah.
I can answer that just a little bit differently. We do have an administrator so that we have executive and administrative authority, and it's something that we delegate to the administrator. So we maintain the executive authority, and we ask her to carry out some of the administrative functions, which reduces the load on us. Kitsap County is a marvelous sized county, 258,000 residents. I think that we are still a size that governs well with